Hello, everybody. Apologies for being slightly late, but we are here now, and that is all that matters. Welcome to today's stream, Touchline Talk, Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. If Nobbins is on time. If not, might be more like 10 past 11. That's my bad. But yes, we're here now, and that is all that matters. Welcome, 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 one and all. Ooh. I can see we've got Keza. How are we doing, Keza? Yes, it's an apologies, I'm a fraud. I am late. Who's this little rat in the chat saying he's going to be late? What a swine. Hello, Sebastian. It's me, Mario. Hello, Jorgen. We've got MJG Window Clean saying yes, come on. The Blues. G-Bank saying bless up to you and your Planet Express ship. And Jorgen asking, I wonder if Ruben starts today. Yes, so this is Touchline Talk, guys. And as you know, situation with these streams is that it's a Q&A, so it's very chilled out. There are some key topics that I do want to touch on myself, but in the main, it's going to be very conversational, very back and forth between me and you guys. So if you got any questions or thoughts on anything throughout the entire stream, I mean, ideally it would be about football, but I guess it doesn't have to be. Feel free to pop them in the chat and I will get back to you. You don't have to super chat for me to respond to you. The idea of this streams is it's a conversation and a back and forth situation. If I could just ask you guys to leave a like on the video, the stream, that would be most appreciated. Some things I want to touch on definitely today. Obviously, we've got to talk about the upcoming game, the massive clash against Real Madrid. Also want to be touching on like the change in discourse and narrative that's happened now that City are in control of the title race as opposed to being behind in the title race. It seems to have gone from a very good thing to a very bad thing. We'll be talking about whether that's justified or not, or whether it's just rival tribalism, etc. And as I say, there'll be a Real Madrid discussion. I've got my tactics board up, actually, and my camera set up over there, so we will be going over there in a bit to touch on the lineup. I want your guys' thoughts as well on who you think we should be starting against Real Madrid, and who should be missing out. Jack's already telling me to shut up. Hello, Jack. So is Musty. These are my moderators, guys. Big ups to AJ, who's from all the way from Australia. Fantastic. I'm constipated, good to know. Score prediction for today, I'm going to say 3-1 to City, Foden with 2. That would be lovely. The return of LNobbins FM24 asks Keza. That will be on Friday. Let me just double check in our schedule, which is in our Discord server, if you aren't in it already. Yes, Friday, 8 p.m. After Little Knob, actually. The NBA playoffs times did drop, and sadly, Suns versus T-Wolves isn't at the time I can do, so it might have to be Lakers versus Nuggets, which isn't that interesting, but I said we were going to do it, so we'll do it. Can you see Madrid performing a low block counter-attack tactic, says Anthony? I'm not so sure, to be honest, Anthony. I think it might be similar to last time. In fact, maybe that's where we should start, actually. Shall we start with that? If I just get this up there. Big game stay indeed, Connor. We are going to attempt to do something we've never done on Touchline Talk. We're going to go over to my tactical board. And we are going to discuss the Manchester City situation. So I'm going to click this button and hopefully it will work. Let's find out together though, shall we? Yeah? Let's find out. Bear with me, guys. Hello. I'm over here now. Hopefully you can still hear me. Yes, you can. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Can this monitor turn on, please? Gosh, this is something that I should have planned before. I'm such a great content creator, aren't I, guys? Let's make sure this button still works. And it does. Hello, how we doing? Right, guys. Tactical situation. I'm just going to bring the chat over so I can actually see you guys still. That would help, wouldn't it? There we go. Right, good. Now I can see you. Perfect. Okay, I can see the chat. It's all good and lovely. This is a professional setup, guys. Don't worry about it. I don't think Real Madrid's going to do anything different. The only change is the fact that Germany's an idiot and got himself suspended. But apart from that, it's probably going to be the exact same situation. One would think. Musty asks, where is Alvarez? He is on the bench. He is not getting involved. That's where he is. So I'm assuming from a Real Madrid perspective, this is going to be the exact same. By the way, guys, I can still see your comments on the screen, so feel free to keep messaging, because as I say, I can see them. I can still react to them. As there is a hair on my touchscreen. We love to see that. You don't see that? You don't see that on Sky Sports. Musty says Militao's going to play instead of Nacho. Is that true though, Musty? Because that guy has barely played all season. I think that he played like 5 minutes on the weekend, and he's hardly played all season. So I'm happy to be proven wrong there. But Nacho started or played more in that game on the weekend against Mallorca, I think it was, and Militao came on for like 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure he's been injured for a lot of the season. So I'm predicting it to be Nacho. I don't think that Militao would be match ready, but that's much of a muchness. The point is, it's not going to be Tchouaméni. That's the point. So it's going to be whoever, irrelevant. I think the key thing is that it's going to be a player who is not as good as Tchouaméni. Ultimately, therefore, maybe Haaland can latch on to whoever the right centre half is compared to Rudiger. Rudiger's had some good games against Haaland in recent times, and AJ Green in the chat says he's played 5 minutes for 6 months. So surely he's not going to be playing. But let me know what you think about the setup, by the way, guys. Should I have my face in the corner, or do you prefer it if I just like keep switching back and forth? I'm willing to be led by you guys. Let me know. Right. The Man City team is obviously what's of interest. As I say, this is whatever. It's much of a muchness. This is what is interesting. Now, there are a couple of key. I'll put my face in the corner next time. Thank you, guys. There are a couple. We can do both, to be fair. There are a couple of key things with City and a couple of main points of contention. Kyle Walker being allegedly available is now a thing. So I'm going to assume, for argument's sake, that Kyle Walker is fully fit and sharp and ready to go, and that's not really an issue, and the main point is, should he just play or not? We can talk about like the long-term thing. The Knobcast is my podcast, by the way, guys. If you haven't already followed that on Spotify and Apple, what are you doing? I will be bringing that to YouTube, by the way, so stay tuned for that. It's a Man City, Man United podcast. It's very good. Me and my friend Gasky. In my opinion, Walker needs to start. Walker needs to start. Guys, we should just field 12 players. Now, I've been a big critic of Kyle Walker, rightly so. He's not been good this season. However, the reality of the situation is that we are dealing with some pacey boys on that left-hand side. Did you guys see those average position maps from the Real Madrid Man City game? It was literally like these two lads were just camped over here. They were just camped over here because they knew that whilst Akanji is a good defender, he cannot deal with them from a pace perspective. And if you remember the Real Madrid clash from last season, Kyle Walker essentially locked up Vinicius Jr. You know, he was, in fact, he came out in an interview after saying he was determined to not be made a fool of, like, you know, when Fernandinho was in the Etihad clash a few years prior, where we actually did get knocked out by Real Madrid. We got nutmegged and then they scored a goal. There was a time where Vinicius tried to flick it over his head. Kyle Walker was like, no, less of that. So Walker is designed for these matchups. Real Madrid clearly, based on that game, like to 40, in it, Connor, this is the next evolution in football. Just sneak on another footballer. So clearly, Real Madrid are going to be focusing down their left, as we saw in terms of the game at the Bernabeu. Yes, that makes sense. So for me, Walker has to start. There's not really a question of that. So then the question becomes, and in my opinion, I don't know the Ake situation, but I'm going to assume that Ake isn't fully fit, and even if he is, I still want Gvardiol playing. So then the question becomes, so if we're definitely playing Walker at right back / right centre half, this is with the ball, by the way, the question then becomes, who plays in this area here? Who plays here? Well, why isn't that circle working? There we go. Who plays as a central centre half? Stones is obviously going to play, because we need Stones in the John Stones role, funnily enough. So the question becomes, who should play at central centre half? And in fact, I mean, I'd be really interested to know, guys, in the chat right now, just like you can leave, like, you can have an explanation if you want. But just let me know in the chat who should start against Real Madrid in the central centre-half position. Ruben Diaz or Akanji? The good thing is, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here. I think that they both have their strengths. The main concern with Ruben Diaz is that he is on a suspension. He's on a yellow card. So if he does get booked in this game, he would, and assuming we were lucky enough to get through, he would miss the next leg of the Champions League. He would miss the first leg of the semi-final. So let's say Arsenal get through, he would miss the game at the Emirates. The other thing is, and me and LB have discussed this, it's a question of pace and potentially being exposed on the counter attack. Now, obviously, if we introduce Walker, then that is a mitigation of that issue. But at the end of the day, Ruben Diaz is still known to get caught out on the counter attack. So I can definitely see the. Oh, I've accidentally deleted them. Goodness me. Right, you guys just gonna have to pretend. Whoever that is, I've accidentally deleted them. Goodness me. I can see the argument for both of them, to be honest. I actually don't mind I don't actually mind who goes there. Yellow cards are not going to get wiped, as I understand it, guys. They're still going to be relevant. So I can see the idea, because Ruben Diaz is our best box defender, but Akanji's a lot quicker, and Akanji's been our best defender this season. I might genuinely start Akanji and then bring on Ruben sort of like 60th minute, hopefully defending a 1-0 lead, because Ruben's our best box defender. So I don't think there's an incorrect answer there. So I'm actually just going to leave that blank, but because I don't actually mind in terms of that. I might be erring more towards Akanji over Ruben Diaz, as I say, because of the yellow card situation, because of the pace situation. I appreciate Ruben Diaz brings that leadership, box defending, etc. But I'm just very conscious of these threats over here and in transition. I don't know if Ake is fully fit. I don't think he is. So I'm going to lock in Akanji. I'm going to say Akanji, but I don't think there's an incorrect answer there, to be fair. If you want to say Ruben Diaz, that's absolutely fine. Is that only sense out? Yeah, exactly. He's the invisible man. Man City fans know all about that. So whoever it is, I'm going to play, just pretend Akanji's there. I'm going to go Akanji. Nobbins, do you think Haaland can exploit Nacho instead of Tchouaméni? 100%. I would like to see him leech and latch himself onto this player. Wait one sec. I'm such a talented human being, aren't I? Right, there we go. Right, so then the next question becomes, what does the next question become? John Stones is playing, of course he is. Rodri's playing, of course he is. Haaland's playing, of course. If you want to try to weasel Julian in there, then less of that. We've got over 100 people watching, by the way, guys. We've got over 100 people watching my hands do this. You know what I need your hands to do? To press the like button, yeah? Look at that link. Look at it. Right. Stones, yes. Rodri, yes. Haaland, yes. Alvarez, no. The question... So this was the attacking... middle four, quartet, whatever you want to say, which played against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. But De Bruyne was supposed to play instead of Kovacic. That much has been confirmed by people who know a lot more about the situation than I. Because De Bruyne was vomiting, so he wasn't available. So obviously De Bruyne is going to start. So obviously someone's going to have to drop out. The question becomes, well, it's not really a question. Obviously, Kovacic comes out. That's not really a question, to be honest. Kovacic was not supposed to play the game at the Bernabeu. He's not going to play the game at the Etihad. We've discussed Ake. Doku, I just popped in here just out of interest. Doku, I think, is a player who wants to come on as a sub if we need it to, as an impact player, you know, against the likes of Carvajal, Mendy, etc. So obviously De Bruyne is going to play. So this is from, from Stones onwards, this front 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I can count, 7 is locked on. Like there's a debate about whether Walker starts due to fitness. There's a debate about Akanji or Diaz if that's the case. Outside of that, these players are surely locked on. The question just becomes, in what formation and in what order do they play? Because here is the problem, guys. Here is the problem. This looks very pretty, and it looks lovely, and it looks really fun and interesting, and attacking. But this is my main gripe with people's Man City formations, I suppose. People don't, when people talk about Man City, they do not consider the difference between an on-ball shape and an off-ball shape. Some people still think we play 4-3-3. We've not played 4-3-3 in like 4 years. I don't even know. We play a 4-4-2 without the ball. We've played a 3-2-5 with the ball, or a 3-2-2-3, whatever you want to call it. What you are seeing here, guys, is how we would set up with the ball in possession. There's not a problem for me. There's not a problem here. Foden, you can play Foden in the middle. De Bruyne can have that more free form role where he just sort of like goes around. For example, against Newcastle, nominally it was Foden on the right, De Bruyne in the middle. But we saw De Bruyne over here and Foden over here. Sometimes we saw De Bruyne over here. Sometimes we saw De Bruyne over here. So that's not really an issue. The issue becomes, as I say, when we don't have the ball and when Real Madrid are attacking us, or maybe even in transition as well. So let's talk about that. So if you want to have De Bruyne and Foden in the middle, and again, this is the main reason why, this is the reason why Pep's not done it once this season. And Ibrahim has brought it up perfectly. Who partners Rodri when we're defending? That is the crux of this system. And this is why I don't think this will happen. Because this is going to happen. Gavardo goes to left back. Akanji/Diaz will go there. Stones will go there. Or the other way around, whatever. If it's Diaz, one would assume that it would be that. If it's Akanji, it might be the other way around, to be fair. Rodri will go there. Grealish goes to the left midfield, Bernardo there. Now, Haaland and KDB, again, you'll know, guys, if you've watched my Foden De Bruyne video, KDB is always the striker who partners Haaland when we don't have the ball. He's not played as a box-to-box midfielder, like without the ball, in years. And he's also got injury concerns and is getting older. So we probably don't want to play him in midfield. And again, and when we had Gundogan, this wasn't a problem. Because he was just slotting alongside Rodri. Lovely, 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 lovely. This is the issue. That, right there. Pep's not done this all season. This has not happened at any stage of this season. We've never played a 4-4-2 with Foden in the midfield without the ball. Foden's played the midfield without the ball once, as far as my memory is concerned. And that was against RB Leipzig, but we actually changed the out of possession formation to a 4-3-3. So it was less of an issue. And the reason why we did that was because of Leipzig's change in formation. They set up really weird. So people wanting Foden, De Bruyne in the middle, I appreciate that and would love that to be a thing. But it would be very, very, I'm not saying it can't be done. It would be very, very risky to be doing this against Real Madrid in a quarter-final second leg. So I think what's a more realistic system is that with the ball, Bernardo plays in midfield and Foden goes out to the right. And I know, that's blasphemy, Nobbins. How dare you? You are a massive lover of midfield Foden. But I just don't think that this is the game to be experimenting with. You could make an argument that because Real Madrid, based on the first leg, was so left-sided dominant, because all they really cared about was creating attacks in this sort of area. They didn't really hit this area that much in relative terms, in terms like on the counter-attack especially. Oh my, I've made a little baby circle there. How cute. So you could make the argument that because Real Madrid are going to be, as I say, more left-sided dominant, maybe it doesn't matter as much who is playing to the left of Rodri. Maybe it's not that much of a concern. For me, I don't think it's worth the risk. I'm not saying that Foden should play on the touchline, by the way. I'm not saying Foden gets chalk on his boots. No. AJ Green's got it spot on. Foden played right wing in the second half against Man United, and he was exceptional. Why? Because he was allowed to tuck inside. Foden played right wing nominally when De Bruyne came on against Newcastle. Did he stay out on the touchline? No, he did not. He rotated with Kevin De Bruyne, who sometimes went to the right wing himself. So for me, this makes total sense. It's a secure system. It's a secure formation. It gets all our best players on the pitch. Foden is not going to be doing a touchline graveyard shift. He's going to be able to come inside. So he might be starting there, but there's still scope for him to come outside there. And I say maybe De Bruyne overlap outside there. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. I know it's not ideal. I know it's not ideal. But until Foden, if he ever, learns how to do the Gundogan, role position properly, and to be fair, he's not been given the chance to do that at all this season. Until he gets that defensive nous in his game, which will probably only come with playing games, now is not the time to throw him in at the deep end. That's the sort of thing that you want to see at home against Luton or against Sheffield United or a home against a Burnley. I don't want to see it against Real Madrid in the second leg of a Champions League quarter-final. I don't think that's preferable. Again, you can make the argument because Real Madrid will no doubt attack down with their left, with Vinicius and with Rodrigo. I don't think it's worth the risk personally. And I'm the biggest advocate of midfield Foden. But that's my thoughts on the team. Let me know what you guys think. Would you risk playing Foden in the midfield and De Bruyne in the midfield? Do you think it can work? Bearing in mind, it's not about what works on the ball, it's what works off the ball. Let me know what you guys think. We're now going to head back over to my screen. In fact, I need to set that up because that's the wrong button. I'm going to press a button. The screen's not going to be quite right, but just bear with me. I'm going to go back over there now. Oh. There we go. Boom. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully, let me know if you enjoyed that different tactical board overhead situation. If you did, we'll be using that more in these touchline talks. If you thought it was a bit shit, then then that works too. But hopefully you liked it. So yeah, so in that respect, I don't think it'll be a low block necessarily. I can maybe see them trying to press us a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a total low block in the first leg, was it? Let's be honest. They were sometimes able to create fake transitions, weren't they? So I'm not convinced it's going to be as simple as they're just going to be doing an out and out low block. But time will tell. Maybe I'm got it totally wrong. We shall see. Love that from you, Keza. Get puppet gloves on next time. Fantastic. Again, guys, are you having Foden and De Bruyne in the midfield, bearing in mind the out of possession situation? Are you risking that, or are you being a bit more conservative? Are you playing Foden technically off the right, but with license to come in the middle? And rotating with De Bruyne. Or as I say, are you full sending it? Are you going, well, actually, how many times are we going to be out of possession against Real Madrid? Just go for it. Just go for it. Because those weaknesses are only relevant when off the ball. Are Real Madrid going to create too much when we're in a settled defensive shape? Maybe that's the situation. Beat Madrid by any means is cooler. I will do my best. Nervous, but I'm sure we'll pull through. I feel either phone or Bruyne have to be bench. Wow, see, I don't think they have to be bench. You can definitely play them both at the same time and still have defensive security. Pep is tactical and Madrid is equally good without Pep's level of tactic, hence he always plays a better game than Madrid. He'll show it today. I hope you are correct. Having Edison's back is going to unlock us. And we didn't even really talk about that. I just had Edison in the team just because I'm so sure he is going to start. Because we missed him in that first leg. I know Ortega did a decent job, but when Real Madrid came to press us, we didn't look nearly as comfortable. And those balls in over the top, again, think about Haaland latching onto Nacho, those long balls over by Edison. So again, he's going to be pushing the opposition back, really close to their goal. So Edison's more accurate long passes, not long balls, long passes from his own box are going to be an even more vital weapon. So I think that's a very good point, Fraser. And I think that he must start. Crown will show up today. Yes, I would like to think it's been good. It's been very good in terms of the Champions League games when it matters anyway. Just a sort of side note, because like these touchline talk ones are very blasé. I don't know if that's the right adjective, but a lot of criticism over Man City's atmosphere, etc. And that's fine, but people have to appreciate that every single big club in this country is like that in respect of the crowd will not turn up for every single game because, and this sounds like a very arrogant, elitist mentality, but a Man City crowd aren't going to be as excited as Man United coming to town as Luton or Real Madrid in a Champions League a Champions League quarter final versus Leipzig in the group stages. And that's just natural. Like, everyone does that. So yeah, Musty, Haaland up top in the midfield. Doku, right? Okay, Musty. What is this? Doku Alvarez, stop it. I would like Doku to come on as an impact player if needed. Maybe even Alvarez. But yeah. I remember Triangle Sailor played on the right side. I think we need defensive security. Our right side. Our right side, do you mean, Eustace? Yes. Again, I can't really remember them attacking that much down our left. I know Camavinga technically scored from there, but in terms of like creating chances, there weren't that many. Haaland should dominate tonight. I think he was going to have a good game. I think he's going to have a good game. Fun Bernard can always switch positions depending on what we need. It's a good point. It's a good point. I guess if it's not working, you can always swap partway through. Militao played 10 minutes in the last game. Would they risk him? Again, again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure someone put the stats in earlier. He's barely played all season. I'm sure he's been injured a lot. Beating Madrid today, dunk on Bellingham. Good morning, Formidable Centurions. Question, will City press high, man-to-man, like last year? I would be very surprised. A big sort of like reason why we were so dominant last year was because Real Madrid, like physically, were, I think me and LB have discussed this before, physically, they were pretty inferior in that midfield. They allowed us to dominate them. And if you look at the players Real Madrid have now, Camavinga, Bellingham, even Valverde, I know Tchouaméni's not going to be playing, Rudiger. These are big boys. These are big boys and dominant physical profiles. With long legs, Camavinga especially in that first leg was fantastic. So I don't know if we're going to be able to bully them in the same way from a physical standpoint. So I don't think we're going to be able to be as gung-ho as last year, to be honest. I think it's going to be more an even contest. Bernardo can be a problem. So easy to set traps for. He's too eager to press. It's a good point, Cooler. Yes, we must not leave Rodri isolated. 100% agree. I don't care if there'll be mostly tourists there. There better be chance for minute 1 to the final whistle. Well, apparently, I think that, it's season ticket holders are given like massive priority in respect to those games because of cup scheme situation. So it should be perfectly fine in that respect. Hey, Ayushi, sorry. Welcome to the Ultras Club. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Genuinely means the world that you've opted to support the channel. Enjoy your emotes, enjoy your loyalty badge, enjoy the fact that your name is now going to be in gold for everyone to see, and enjoy the fact that you're going to be supporting your boy. You now get exclusive emotes. I'm working on some software where my Haaland printer will activate and it will print out a receipt when anyone becomes a member. That hasn't yet been made, but thank you so much. Genuinely means the world. Allows me to continue making this content for you guys because this is my job at the end of the day. Yes, I'm not going tonight because I'm not on the cup scheme. I will be doing a watch along on my channel, so make sure to join me later, guys, for that. Having a 100% Duracell battery, Roger, going to make sure we win today, says Fraser. Yeah, big that he was rested against Luton. Foden rested as well. I don't know if he was supposed to be rested or not, but because there was like some debate in the FPL community about whether Foden was supposed to start, but then didn't. I think Pep said he wasn't supposed to start, so that bodes well. So he was given a full rest. Ultimately, Grealish given a rest. So sharpness, fitness for those players shouldn't really be a concern. Rodri especially, he did not have a great first half, especially at the Bernabeu. Hopefully he's back at it and back to being the guy we know he can be. I can find any spares for tonight. Yeah, Mo, as I say, I'm not going tonight because I'm not on the cup scheme. It's just got a little bit too expensive in recent years. I used to be on it like years ago, but because they just like charge whatever they feel like. Like you might only get charged like 10 quid for a group stage game, but then it's like 50 quid for a quarter-final. Like, well, that's a little bit unfair. And you can't say no. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, someone just subscribed, Man City Fan 93. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Are we all nervous? Here's my thing, guys. Well, I'm not saying that I'm, like, not nervous, because obviously I want us to win, but this feels very, for me anyway, this feels very different to previous years. Obviously, I still want to win the Champions League, but we've won it once now, so the sort of, like, the pressure isn't there in the same way from, like, a fan's... Like, the years prior, I felt sick going in because we never won it before. But now that we've won it, and I was, like, there in Istanbul, it was, like, the best thing ever. Again, obviously, I still want to win it, but I don't feel anywhere near as, like, nervous or terrified as I was in previous years. I'm still like, if we lose, it's unfortunate, but we've won it now. Do you get what I mean? Which is a privilege, I guess, in a way. I'm always more concerned about the Premier League. That's the one where I'm like, I'm so desperate to win that one. But let me know what you guys think. Are you any different in terms of, like, because we've now won it last year? Or are you still equally as nervous and scared? Let me know. For me, I'm a bit more chill. I'll still pop off if we win. I'll still be upset if we lose. But I feel like it's not going to be to the same amount of... I'm not going to be as upset as in previous years. When the Champions League anthem hits, I'm shitting it, says Bussy. Fair enough. AJ's just nervous. Not as confident as last season. I think our verdict came from our right side due to poor marking. If memory serves, I mean, that was just a world-class finish. I don't know how much I can blame our players for that. That was just ridiculous, to be fair. Without Chimneys, Real Madrid's defense going to be easy to break. I think so. Chimneys is a very good player. So they're going to be in a weakened state. We're going to be in a stronger state because we've got Walker back. And we need him for this game. And that's another thing, which I think I've mentioned before. It's worth risking Walker because, no offense to him, we don't need him for the rest of the season outside of, like, squad situations. In my opinion, Akanji's a much better footballer now for this system, much better right back in this current system. So he's not really as necessary. He's needed for specific. So, for example, if we get to the final, and let's say PSG are in the final, I might start Walker because of the Mbappe threat. If we get to the FA Cup final and it's Rashford, I would probably start him again because to deal with the Rashford threat, the pace. But outside of those very specific situations, which we'd only get on, like, the final days of the season anyway, we're not really going to encounter a match where we need Walker. Again, a very specific tool for a very specific threat nowadays. In general, Akanji's a far better footballer. So I wouldn't mind starting Walker, and if he aggravates the injury, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because he can rest up and then he can play in those games where we do need him. I feel like the players would rather win the Premier Champions League than the Prem. Maybe that's just my take. That's just my take in terms of I prefer the Premier League. Both nervous and chilled. Still want to. Yeah, of course. I'm still nervous. Still want to win, but I'm not like going like before. I'd feel like sick. I would feel sick beforehand. Now that we've won it, it's a bit like we've won the treble, so I'm a little bit more calm. I'm fighting for my life for City lose because my entire school supports Real Madrid. Oh, that is a massive L, Musty. Are all players really available for City? I believe that Walker is, and that was the main question mark. Our defense is like last season. That's my only concern. Yeah, and the big issues because we let Gundogan go. The good thing is that will be resolved in the summer. I'm so convinced our issues of this season will be resolved in the summer because there's no way we're going to not sign the players we need to sign this summer. We need to sign a proper Gundogan replacement. We need to sign Paquetá. We bring those in. That basically solves all our issues. And we'll sign other players as well. I'm very convinced of that. Pep doesn't fear Madrid. We shouldn't either. Yeah. It's not about fear. It's just more about general nerves. It's just about general nerves. You said, yeah, but there's no way it's going to happen 2 summers in a row, Musty. There's no way it's going to happen 2 summers in a row. This thing I get from the Centurions doc, I'm yet to watch the treble one. Things go very well for us or against us immensely, home or away. I still need to watch that treble doc, yes. How old are you? Look, 20 and 30 at the same time. So that must mean I'm 50. Just had to add them together. Sorry, someone else. Big games ahead. I just want a perfect week. Beat Madrid at home and then go to Wembley. Yes, that would be lovely if we can do that. Yeah, this is in terms of like, I'm not mentioning actually winning a treble. Like, I mentioned it out of fun, but in terms of like potentially doing it again, this is obviously a make or break week. We could be in a situation where it's still on. We're in a semi-final and a final, and we're still top of the table, or we could be in a situation where we're out of the Champions League, we're out of the FA Cup, and we're third. Because we played like before Arsenal we play after Arsenal and Liverpool. Previously, it's more stressful as a City fan. We need to defend our title. That would be lovely. Hello, Ballo. Hello, Nobbins chat. How are you feeling before the match? Standard pre-match nerves, but I'm feeling quietly and calmly comfortable and confident. That's not arrogant. I'm just feeling relatively calm, collected, because City should win. I'm very convinced we are a better team than Real Madrid. I'm very convinced that Real Madrid are now worse compared to the first leg because there's no Tchouaméni. We are, on the other hand, stronger because of the players coming back. We will be at home advantage. We don't tend to lose at home in general. We don't tend to lose at home in Europe. We don't tend to lose at home in Europe in knockout competition. The last time that happened was 6 years ago. So everything points to us winning the game. I'm very happy with the draw at the Bernabeu. Take it to City. We should be looking to win this game. We should be winning this game. Was I nervous of Madrid last season? Yeah, definitely. And I was nervous when we went 2-0 up. If everyone was here on these watch-alongs, because I was scarred. I think I only got really properly comfortable when we went 3-0 up. 2-0, I wasn't comfortable. I was like, no, we need to kill it. We need to kill it. The third went in. I think that's when I went mental because I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to do it. We've already discussed my team formidable Centurions. We shouldn't have sold Cole Palmer, says PB Sweet. I think we've touched on a lot of Real Madrid there. If you guys have still got questions or concerns or comments on that, feel free to keep them coming in. But I feel like maybe we should move on to another topic right now. But if you guys have got any other thoughts on that, keep them coming. I don't know if I've touched on this in a touchline talk, but I think I want to touch on it now if I haven't already done so. Cole Palmer. Yeah, as I said, don't think I've touched him. We'll touch on Cole Palmer, and then we will touch on the title race generally, and how City are like the massive villains, and how it's our fault that Curtis Jones missed a sitter, etc. Ake Gvardiol for me, stop the Palmer shot. And this is sort of where I'm getting to, AJ. I want to cover it now. I don't agree that City made a mistake selling Cole Palmer. I'm very happy for Cole Palmer as a City graduate. I'm very happy how well he's doing. Fantastic for him. I genuinely want him to do well, and I'm happy he is doing well. But people need to realise that as good as Palmer's been this season, first of all, he still doesn't start for us. If we scoop current Palmer and pop him in the City team, he does not start for us. That's not me slandering Palmer. Connor's a Chelsea fan. He's a very intelligent Chelsea fan. Hopefully he agrees with me. He doesn't start for us. That's not a dig. It's just the reality of how good the City team is. Secondly, and the more important point, is that the Cole Palmer you see right now, the player he's been allowed to become at Chelsea, would not be allowed to become the player he is at City. Why? Because he would not be getting the minutes at City. He would not be the main guy at City. He would be nowhere near the main guy at City. The minutes Oscar Bob is getting this season, in my opinion, are the minutes that Cole Palmer would be getting this season. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's doing brilliantly well at Chelsea. Again, genuinely, I'm very happy for him. But there needs to be this acceptance from the City fan base that he would not be starting for us in this current form, nor would he allow to become the player he is now. Because at Chelsea, he's the main man. Again, Connor can attest to this. Everything goes through him at Chelsea. He's been Chelsea's best player this season. If everything is going through, and he's at no offense to Chelsea, he's at a worse club in terms of the team that they are right now. It is easier to be the main guy if you are a very good player at a worse team. It's nearly impossible. Even Kevin De Bruyne is not the main man at Man City. No one's the main man at Man City, realistically. De Bruyne is the closest thing to it, but even he is not that. Is it easier for a diamond to shine while surrounded by other diamonds or while surrounded by turds? Obviously, it's the latter. And that's me disrespecting Chelsea squad a lot there. Apologies, but I'm making it's hyperbolic, but I'm trying to make a point there. That's what I'm saying about it. If you want Palmer in, that's fine, but then and you're saying, well, let's give him the minutes of like a Doku, but then we don't have Doku. And in my opinion, Cole Palmer is a wide player who is best used when he's given that freedom of coming inside into the midfield. So technically a right winger, but also technically like right central midfield. We don't need that profile of player. We need a winger. We need Doku. We need someone like that. So again, I don't think it was a mistake at all. You can say maybe we should try to get more money for him or whatever, but again, you got to look at what the player was when he was sold. And it's the same thing with Lavia, the exact same situation. Oh, he would have been a much better player than Phillips. But Lavia wouldn't have got the experience he wouldn't have got the experience playing football at Man City as he did at Southampton to become that player. That is the crux. He would not have been allowed to become that player. Think about the quality of City, how good Phil Foden is. It's taken him years to finally get to play in midfield. Palmer simply just wouldn't have played for us. You can say goodbye to any minutes for Oscar Bob. Any minutes for Oscar Bob this season. And again, for me, Oscar Bob is probably more of a Pep player than Palmer anyway. So long term, I think it was the correct move by City. I think it was the correct move by Chelsea. I think it was the correct move by Palmer. I don't think it was a mistake on anyone's side. It was an amicable negotiation, and for me, there's nothing wrong with it. We didn't replace Mahrez. Well, we brought in Doku. That's not an issue for me. So yeah, and again, Oscar Bob is one of the main points from a City fan's perspective. If Palmer's here, Bob ain't getting any minutes. And I think that'd be a massive shame. And I think there's a quality player in Oscar Bob. Best move for everyone. So that's my take on Cole Palmer. There's nothing wrong about the deal. It was absolutely fine. And Palmer's perfect for us, more of an output machine. Yeah, 100%. And again, he wouldn't be allowed to be that player at City. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's my take on the Cole Palmer situation. And hopefully, Man City fans can move on from that situation. He's having a very good individual season at Chelsea, but he would not be allowed to have that season at City. That's the point. Talk about the charges. I've done the YouTube video about that code released last year. The situations are the exact same. So if you'd like to go give that a watch, you're more than welcome to. I've already done that. Also players these days there. Why have to make the decision? Started playing football till 60, 70 years. Gundo now. Bernardo. Yes, Bernardo's probably going to be leaving us, isn't he? So that's the Real Madrid situation. That's the Palmer situation. Let's maybe now move on to the title race. But again, if there's any topics you guys want me to touch on or any comments on anything, feel free to pop them in the chat. Again, this is a conversation. Please leave a like on the video, guys. It looks like how many people are here? What is that? Nearly 200, just under 200. That's crazy for a Wednesday morning. I want the likes to get up to 150. It's disgraceful they're only on 112. Come on, guys. Get it up here. Hello, Mohammed Sheriff. What a fantastic name. How are you doing, mate? Yeah, let's now move on to the let's like the title race talk, shall we? But again, if any other questions on Real Madrid, feel free to keep them coming. Look, I don't expect any different. Mostly, I don't expect any different from the boring tabloid press who just clearly, I mean, we used to get called like conspiracy theorists for this, but I really hope that people nowadays can just accept that the mainstream media does just hate Man City. I'm sure they hate lots of clubs, but they clearly detest us. That's not wrong. Can you comment on Liam cheating on his missus when he goes Australia? Wait, what? What, Toby? What? Wait, what headline? What headline? Yeah. They hate us. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, Musty. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the exact. Yeah, Musty. You're right. I don't know the exact title. In fact, Musty, can you DM it to me on Discord right now if you don't mind, just so I can read it out? If you can't, it's not an issue. But if you could, that would be ideal. If you could DM it to me, just so I can read it out. A few weeks ago, I was on Judge Mo's channel, and it was being posited to me that this is the most exciting title race in Premier League history. Which I didn't agree with, by the way. This doesn't come close to 13-14. Doesn't come close. Thank you, Musty, for that DM. Love that from you, mate. Within the space of a few hours, not even like a few hours, it went from most exciting race in Premier League history, most exciting title race in Premier League history, to headlines like this. And I say thank you, Musty, for DMing this to me. This is from Eamon Sweeney of the Irish Independent. I'm not going to misquote him. I'm going to directly do this verbatim. Talking point, Eamon Sweeney, Irish Independent. Another Hollow City title march after rivals run out of gas in a deeply unfair race. I can't get over how, like, petulant and baby that headline is. It's wrong on it's wrong on so many levels. Because again, I'm sure this guy, Eamon, whatever. I'm not reading all of it because that's loads, but I'll maybe read it all later. But again, I'm sure he was someone saying that, this is a really exciting title race. And here's the thing, guys. The Premier League in recent years has been very exciting. It is irrelevant what the end result is. It's been a very exciting time in the Premier League. People go, oh, City have won it however many times in a row, therefore it's not interesting. That is bollocks. A race is interesting by the virtue of the journey, not by virtue of the end. The title race last season against Arsenal was very interesting for most people, for a large portion of it, because Arsenal were in the lead and then they bottled it, and then City were in the lead and then Arsenal back in the lead, and The 18-19 title race was again very interesting. It was back and forth between City and Liverpool. Liverpool had a massive lead, and then the fact that City won it at the end is irrelevant to the excitement. What's exciting is the journey. It was a boring season in the 17-18 season when City just won it at December. It was a boring season in the 19-20 season when Liverpool won it by December. But if there's a title race which goes to like the last few days of the season, then it's interesting by definition. And again, look at the most interesting, exciting title races in Premier League history. The top 5, at least 3 involve Manchester City. 11-12 is the most interesting one, in my opinion. 13-14 is another one. 18-19 is another one. This season, allegedly, is another one. I think in terms of the top 5, I think that City are in at least 3 times, maybe even 4 times. United, Chelsea in like the mid-noughties. I think it was like the 2010 season? I think where like they won it by 1 point. There was a season where they won it by 1 point. That was good, obviously. There was a 98-99 that went down to the last day. United versus Newcastle, obviously. But again, it's like and also if you think like the title-winning moments, it's such exciting moments. Aguero in 11-12. The Gerrard slip in 13-14 and Christian Ball, that involved Man City. As you guys are saying, Gundogan in 21-22. Vincent Kompany in 18-19, that absolute rocket. We've been involved in so many exciting, interesting moments. Just because these people are pissy about the end result, that doesn't make the journey any less interesting or valued. It's just people crying about this like perceived dominance, which they don't think they've ever seen, yet they have. I remember doing a video about this when True Geordie was wrong. Man City are still yet to dominate the Premier League to the same extent as Fergie's Man United did. Like the first decade of the Premier League, it was dominated by United. 92-93. So 1993, United. 1994, United. 95, Blackburn. 96, United. 97, United. 98, Arsenal. 99, United. 2000, United. 2001, United. So in the first 9 seasons of the Premier League, 7 Man United wins, 2 non-Man United wins. So what are people chatting? They didn't really care. Apparently, they didn't care that much back then when it was Man United dominated, but now it's City dominating. They care. That just annoys me. That angers me. So that's the thing. Apologies. Apologies if you didn't enjoy my rant, but you get what I mean. This dominance has been done before. I mean, not 4 in a row, but in terms of like the overall amount of titles won, has been done before and better by Man United. I think that would we now be maybe equaling that, or maybe equaling it if we win it one more time? I'm not sure, but you get what I mean. Now that City doing it, suddenly it's not okay. This idea that the Premier League from 1993 has been this bastion of supreme competitiveness, it's not. Disregarding the outlier of Leicester, which was just like a 1 in a million, United, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Blackburn, I guess. What's that like? So what, in like 30 years, 6 different winners? Blackburn have only won it once. Liverpool have only won it once. So are there only 4 winners of the Premier League in terms of more than one? Yeah, what a brilliant advertisement of competitiveness that is. It's never been like that. People talk about early Premier League as if they're talking about the first division in the 1970s or the 1960s, where it was like back and forth and back and forth. So it's just like, you get what I mean? It's just annoying. Even actually dropped the highest quote ever about City selling Zinchenko and Jesus. And Master's tools will never dismantle the Master's house. That's a good line, to be fair. That is a good line. I heard one said it was due to depth. Have you seen other squads? How's that a reason you lost a match? Yeah, and that's the thing. If we were like, you know, winning every single clash against our title challengers, i.e., you know, Liverpool and Arsenal this season, then it would be like, you know, fair enough. You can't be expected to beat us 1v1. Haven't we got the worst record of any of those clubs in respect of games against the top 6, or one of the worst records? We've only beaten Man United. We've only beaten Man United, who are shit. So it's not our fault that Curtis Jones missed a sitter against Crystal Palace at home. It's not our fault that Trossard decided to hit his shots straight at Martinez. It's not our fault that Jorginho, when they were 1-0 down and still had 5 minutes plus added time, it's not our fault that Jorginho decided to try to play a hero ball, a nearly impossible through ball, and rush things, that making it 2-0 and killing the game. It's not our fault. It's not our problem. This has been, I'll say it again, and I don't care if we win the treble. I'll say it again. This has been the worst season from a Pep Guardiola perspective in respect of coaching. I don't care if he wins the treble this season. I'm going to maintain that. We had our worst ever period under Guardiola this season. We lost at the Emirates. We drew at Anfield. We drew at home against Liverpool. We drew at home against Arsenal. This, if you can't take advantage of, we didn't have our best player available for half the season. We did not properly replace our treble-winning captain. If we win the title from this point, it is their fault and their fault alone. If Man City win this title, we have not won it, they have lost it, in my opinion. If you can't take advantage of us in what is, again, outside of 16-17 because of the squad issues, our weakest ever situation, all that context applied, then that is entirely on you. and it is not our fault and not our problem. Don't worry, I'm going to get to the chat right now. 30 before then, even worse. You realise Ralph fans points season trouble to put pressure on us, yet the insult when we don't win it. Yeah, crazy. Not part of the Red Mafia. What is this? We were starting it poorly, to be fair to Eamon. If you win it this year, it does begin to feel very hollow. Don't think it's another hollow title race. I agree with what you said. They win it hollow, but this season, last season, with how much the charge have been in the news, to have Arsenal last season be top for so long, I'll be able to see it through now to the season where Liverpool went back. Arsenal's still there as well. It seems like, again, no one can beat City. But again, that's their fault. That's their fault. It's not like we are winning the title by... It's not like... If it was the Centurion season, every single year, then I would agree with you. And if it wasn't competitive, I would agree with you. But the reality is it is competitive. And the reality is that these teams have had their chances. Liverpool in 18-19 were ahead in the title race. They capitulated. That was their fault. 21-22, weren't we like 5th in December or something mental? We were well behind. We were nowhere. No one was talking about us in terms of the title. In terms of the title that season, it was their fault that we didn't win. 21-22, again, Liverpool were in charge of the title race. They fell apart. They allowed us to come back into it. Arsenal last season, was it 90% they were in the lead? And they bottled it in 3 games, not even involving City. Southampton at home, the worst team in the division, up 2-0 against West Ham. Had a penalty at 2-1 up, by the way. And that was their fault. 2-0 up against Liverpool, a poor Liverpool team. And they capitulated. Their fault. If we win the title from now to the end of the season, their fault. It's nothing to do with City are this behemoth which can't be overcome. The only season I'm willing that to be a thing is 17-18. I'll give you 18-19 as well. Every other season we've been vulnerable. Every other season we could have been got at, and we did get got at. But then other teams fell apart. So I'm not having it that it's a hollow victory or for me there was a hollow period in Germany. Sort of that when Germany were winning their sort of like 5th to 8th in a row, when not only was second place nowhere near them, but they were also just cherry picking the best players of their opponents. So they were just, they were taking all of Dortmund's best players, all of Leipzig's best players. They were taking Hoffenheim's manager, or was it Leipzig's manager? Nagelsmann, I can't remember. If City were doing that, again, I would accept that it is hollow. But again, given the fact that we've had really interesting title races and we've given the opposition very good chances, it's their fault, and therefore it's not hollow. Hello, Martin. Love to see you, mate. Can't wait to go to the Etihad. Yeah, I'm not on the cup scheme, so I won't be joining you, Martin. But make sure you're singing loud and proud. But again, there's no evidence we have broken the rules, and also we haven't been proven to break the rules. So you've got to no. But what if we haven't, Toby? What if we haven't? You've got to assume we haven't in the first instance. That's the starting point. Assume we haven't broken the rules. That's the first thing to say. In which case, I don't think anyone has a leg to stand on, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Danny, for the super chat. That's a very generous super chat, mate. Is that the tone? Thank you so much, Danny. Very generous. You've activated my Fraudiola filter. Again, very generous. Thank you so much, mate. Hey, are jealous. Want you not apologize for being the best. Domination refers to being the best for several years with a different team and a different system each time. Yes, Danny. 100%. And again, thank you so much for your very generous super chat. No, but Toby, I also know the situation in respect of the likelihood of the outcome of those charges. And in my opinion, we're going to get found not guilty based on the evidence we do have. So there we go. I'm more just trying to illustrate a point, Tone, but yeah, I just like to present arguments. You suit being bored, thank you, Cal. Are we doing a watch along? Yes, Austin, we'll be doing a watch along tonight. I won't be at the Etihad. Mark Goodbridge. What? If that's so, then that will be yeah. Indeed, Toby. And again, that's how I see it. That's how I see it turning out. But again, I don't like people using the Chargers as a stick to beat City with when like we haven't even been proven. That hasn't been proven. It's got to be proven first of all before we can have that conversation. And I would, and to be honest, I'm not going to lie, guys. I would still make the argument that Chargers aside, it's still your fault. It's still your fault. And what's the stat in respect to spending? I'm pretty Toby. You won't like this, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. Arsenal have spent more than City since Guardiola joined City. Arteta has spent more than Pep since Arteta joined Arsenal. I'm very sure those stats are correct. The only difference between the two is the wage situation. And the wage situation is a bit of a false dawn because no one when Arsenal entered into those contracts with their players, no one expected them to become as good as they were. So they therefore weren't being paid, title competing wages. They were being paid like top 4 wages. We are seeing this season that White's been given an extension, Saliba's been given an extension, Saka's been given an extension, and those wages are going to be much more in line with a title competing salary. So I'd be very interested to see the accounts next year. If you look at it now, it's night and day, but I would be very interested to look at it next year. And that goes hand in hand with the fact that the squad value of Arsenal is either the same or just less than or just more than. They're basically very comparable and they're basically the same. So the money argument I'm not really interested in, to be honest. Again, I'll say it again. Arteta spent more than Pep since he's joined. Arsenal spent more than Pep since Pep joined. So I don't really think it's an argument. Big up to you, AJ. Yeah, big up to Tone. Big up to Tone. That's my boy. 40 million. Can we get more? Oh no, 40 million. Oh yeah, true. Justice for a haul and wage increase. Can you imagine? Guys, we've got over 200 people watching, and we have got 150 likes, but I'm greedy. 175 likes. Can we make that dream happen? Leave a like on the video if you're enjoying the stream. We've been live for around an hour. We'll be live for another, I'd say like 15 to 30-ish minutes, depending on what else we want to talk about. We've touched on the Real Madrid game and what we think is going to happen there. If you missed the stream earlier, by the way, guys, you want my thoughts on how we're going to set up, what I think could be best, feel free to rewind the stream where I whip out the tactical board and we discuss that. We've touched on the Cole Palmer situation. We've touched on the Man City once again ruining football situation. We've even I didn't think we were going to talk about this, but we've touched on Man City's charges. Now it's a hollow victory as well. I didn't think we were going to talk about that. Are there any other topics, lads, that we would like to cover whilst we are here? I hope you're enjoying Touchline Talk, a new 11 a.m. morning show where your boy Nobbins talks with you guys. Tone's still salty about Palmer. Hello, Nico. How we doing? I'm doing great, thank you. Man City make backdoor payments to agents, etc. Can't compare money spent with all clubs, says Mr. Happy. Yes, how convenient. Talk about the treble. I'd rather not. All I will say is, guys, look, I don't want to talk about the treble, but in a world where City somehow did it. No, Twisty, it's another Nico. In another world, in another world where City, and I don't think we will do it because it's nearly an impossible thing to do the treble. Never mind do it back to back. It's so impossible, guys. It's never been done before. The double treble has never been done before in football history. The brilliant AC Milan sides never did it. The brilliant Bayern Munich sides, Beckenbauer never did it. The brilliant Johan Cruyff sides of the 70s never did it. Di Stefano's Real Madrid never did it. It's almost definitely not going to happen. If it somehow did, then it would be the greatest achievement in football history, bar none. And no one would ever be able to say anything about City ever again, and City fans can basically retire from football because we will have completed it at that point. There is no bigger achievement that I can think of, realistically. So yeah, it's a thing. Who's the key player tonight? Thank you, by the way, Ishu, for becoming a member earlier today. The key player is going to be Kevin. He's going to step up. He missed the first leg. He's going to step up as he did as he did last season. He got 2 assists last season. Oh, but Nobbins, Kevin De Bruyne isn't clutch. Shut up. Are we still living in a world where people don't think Kevin De Bruyne is one of the most clutch player in Man City football history? A goal at the Bernabeu in the semi-final when 1-0 down. 2 assists at home in the semi-final. Even when he came off last season in the Champions League, created a very good opportunity for Haaland, which Haaland should have done better with. My guy, my man. Foden against his tone. I hope you're right. I'd love if it was Little Phil. I'd love if it was Little Phil, because again, like this is something else. On that, people this season is saying, oh, but Foden's not the difference maker like De Bruyne is. What are you guys on about? Who's saying that? He has been the difference maker. He's been our De Bruyne this season. He has put the team on his back at times this season. Without him, we are not competing on all fronts still. My boy. Jack tonight, potentially. That's a good. I like that as a shout, to be fair. Foden scored the only Real goal, the only one of purpose, says Tone. Yes. It was certainly the most important one. You're 2-1 down. That's the hardest goal to score, the equaliser. Definitely. 100% agree with that. Wait till you meet Serrano on my channel when he talks KDB and Haaland. Why? What's he saying, Martin? Bernardo, indeed. KDB King of Europe. I thought about the possibility of playing United in the FA Cup final. I have, Brand. Form would suggest that will happen. Wouldn't it be interesting? Like, the first ever Manchester Derby FA Cup final ever last season, and then we get another one this year. That would be quite funny. 100% Tone. Totally agree with that. Another Yoshko banger. This guy, man. Again, I didn't know that Yoshko had this in his locker. I watched a lot of RB Leipzig games in my research of Gvardiol. I even watched like a lot of, it was Dinamo Zagreb or whoever he was playing for Croatia. Never once did I see him score a goal like that, or even attempt a goal like that. The fact he's doing it like twice now in like the space of a week is madness. I love it. If you pay attention, he's been trying that all season. Yeah, I'm convinced he's just bow-footed, to be honest. It's very rare for a left-footed player to be that good with their weak foot. It's more common for a right-footer to be strong with their left foot. Horns back. Oh gosh, right, okay. We're gonna fight, Martin. Then I'm gonna fight with that man. Little Phil shows all his talent once again. What a season! He must feel confident. He's got the balls this season. I think maybe like the first third of the season. And here's like the thing, and this is like things that Man City fans have discussed with Foden. Foden is a very, what's the word? Selfless, modest footballer. I think is the correct description of him. I don't think he knew how good he was. I think that when you're surrounded by players like David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Yaya Toure, Sergio Aguero, you're humbled a bit. You're humbled a bit. I think that with De Bruyne being out, he's now realised and maybe even accepted to himself that he is that guy. And I think that we're seeing it now. I don't think a Foden earlier in the season does that. I don't think he goes, it's a quarter-final against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. I'm going to take this and pop it top bins. I don't think Foden in the past does that. So I think that he's got a massive confidence boost from being that main guy this season. And again, he deserves to think he is that good because he is that good. So I need to see him be more confident in his own abilities. Be less humble. Don't think I've got to pass it to Haaland. Don't think I've got to pass it to De Bruyne every time. You are the best player on the pitch currently, Phil. Go for it. You are that guy. You are that guy. Go for it. The balls is a wild statement. Yeah, Tom, it's a good point. Yeah, so I'm so happy to see him take games by the scruff of the neck now. And I have to say, have the balls. Because he's always had the balls. He's always had the testes, yeah? He just needs to realize that he has them. They've dropped. You get... It's a weird analogy, but hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say there. He's always had it. Guys, this is it. If you guys watch Space Jam, the secret, you know, when they drink the water, the Jordan's secret stuff, but it's a placebo. He's always had that in him. We're now just seeing it. If he carries us some trophies, he must be a candidate for some awards. If Man City win the Champions League, and Phil Foden must win the Ballon d'Or, I don't care what happens in the Euros. He should win the Ballon d'Or. That's how it should work. Now, to be fair, Haaland should have won it last year, so maybe he won't, but he should win it if we win the Champions League, because it's very Champions League biased. But hey, if Man City, if people, let's say, come into the season, City win the title, blah, blah, blah. If Man City win the title, I think most people would say that we're the best team in the world, probably. Again, for another season. If that is the case, then surely the best player of the best team should win the Ballon d'Or, by definition. Is that not how it should work? Oh, maybe it's not that simple, but can you imagine? It depends on the Euros as well, to be fair, Musty. If England win the Euros and Bellingham's the main guy at the Euros, then Jude will have something to say about that. Hello, just waking up here in the US. Hope all is well with you. Yes, big up to you, Eric. Thank you for joining me. Early start. What, you must be, are you West Coast then? No, East. East is, the West is more in the past than the East. You must be East Coast, because they're 5 hours behind, aren't they, if you're just waking up? That must be right. I'm guessing like New York-ish, that sort of area. People say Saka's better. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a silly comparison anyway, because they're very different players. But if you have to push me, then yeah, Foden's better. And in my opinion, Saka's had one season better than Foden, and that was a season where Foden was injured for half of it. So I'm not, yeah. England's not winning the Euros with Northern chance as coach. Probably not. Saka's a better winger, but Foden's not a winger, so that's a fine assessment. Yeah, it's perfectly fine, because Foden's not a winger. He's a midfielder. Give Rodri the Ballon d'Or. I wouldn't mind that, but for me, it should be Foden if we're living in a world where City win the Champions League again. That makes so much sense. It can't be that straightforward. Brilliant. Yeah, Phil had like appendicitis, and he had a foot injury. Right, what is wrong with the way I pronounce wingers? What is wrong with the way I pronounce that word? Wingers. Isn't that how you say it? Wingers. What are the chances of Musiala? Sorry, chances of Musiala this summer? TalkSport and Independent linking him. Only Athletic shuts it down. Look, I tweeted about this. Musiala is a player who is so good that it would be a little bit silly to say, no, I don't want him. However, I don't want him. In the context of, he is not the player that we need the most. Musiala is very... Kishan, thank you so much for the 100 rupee super chat. Thank you so much for the tip. Really appreciate it. I'll get to it in a moment. We've got a player very similar to Musiala at home, and his name is Phil Foden. I don't think we need him. If we had him, it would be very fun, and we would have a very fun team, and it'd be very lovely to watch. I love watching Musiala, fantastic footballer. I prefer him to Pedri. I think I love watching him as much as I love watching Foden. But do we need him compared to someone like a Paquetá or someone like a proper Gundogan replacement? No, we don't. Shan, thank you so much for the super chat, mate. Mbappe and Bellingham look average. Their PR is crazy. Hope Rodri gets more recognition for his contributions and wins the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, well, Mbappe scored 2 goals yesterday, but he was bad in the game. But he scored 2 goals, so that's all anyone will talk about. In the future, no one will care about the performance. They'll just look at that and go, oh, 2 knockout goals. He must have had a good game. Stunk up the gaff. But for that red card, PSG don't win that game. No shot. You say wink. No, I say wingers. Wingers. City believe Marcelo will sign a new contract. And that seems the most likely situation, doesn't it, Martin? And again, I'd almost like that to happen. I'd almost like that to happen because, yeah, and again, Martin, you've summarised it perfectly. If we sign a Musiala, that 100% hinders the development of midfield Foden. We need to sign someone who isn't like Phil Foden. We need different profiles. That is what Paquetá is. That is what Bruno Guimaraes is, / João Neves. That is the sort of player, midfielder we should be looking at. Because it doesn't directly, necessarily, impact his development. Do you get what I mean? Phone's replacing Kev. We don't need a Kev replacement. Yeah, well, certainly in terms of the burden. We do still need someone to replace Kevin's specific creativity. Now, Foden can add that string to his bow. Wonderful. But outside, in the short term, I think that's what Paquetá is, to be fair. But they can definitely, Foden and Paquetá can coexist, absolutely, in the same midfield. Certainly when De Bruyne leaves as well. And also Paquetá can play on the wings. Paquetá can play on the double pivot with Rodri. So it's not necessarily an issue. You can have Rodri, Paquetá, De Bruyne, Foden all on the pitch at the same time. No issues there. No issues there. Downstairs, Winger. Winger. I think, is it just, I don't know if it's because I'm from Manchester. Winger. Martin. Am I saying, the way I say winger, is there anything wrong with that? Tone? Is there anything? My chat makes fun of me how I say winger, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm saying it fine. We need a natural 6 to give Rodri rest. Disagree, Bendiv. I disagree. What we need is an 8-6 hybrid. What we need is Gundogan in another form. We need a Bruno Guimaraes, a João Neves, maybe even a Kimmich. That sort of player. You put too much emphasis on the G. Am I saying it right from a Manchester perspective then, Martin? Are they just being regionally discriminatory? Is that what's happening? Colin. They just take the mickey out of me. I prefer João Neves because he's too raw. Hey! If anyone can make it work, it can work and it can be brilliant. Are there any other topic? I feel like we've deviated a lot here. That's fine. This is a Q&A session. Is there anything else? Any other topics that you guys would like us to cover in the sort of like the final 10-ish minutes of today's show? Once again, if you've missed today's stream, we've talked about the Man City lineup, how I think we should deal with that. We've talked about Cole Palmer. We've talked about the game tonight. We've talked about the charges. We've talked about the hollow title run. We've talked about Man City's squad balance. Anything else you want us to touch on, lads? Massive topic. They are my ice hockey team, Detroit Red Wings, missed out on the player plus because Philadelphia decided to pull their gut keeper and let Washington score. What? Isn't that like match fixing? Why is that a thing? Surely that's illegal. Lewis is our next Rodri. No. I don't know what's going to happen with Rico Lewis long term. I don't know what his best position is because I don't think that he can be a right back long term because he's not. He's so tiny. He's so tiny and wee. I would love there to be a world where he could become like a right back and maybe even do that Walker situation. Like against Luton, he was sometimes doing that Walker role, like pushing up to right wing. I see him just as being as an all-round. I don't know if he's going to have a specific role. I can maybe see him almost being like a James Milner, where sometimes he's played at full-back, sometimes played in midfield, sometimes played out wide. I don't know if he's going to have a specific use. I love Rico, man. I love him. What's everyone's favourite biscuit? Chocolate hobnob. Jaffa cake is objectively, legally, a cake. It is taxed as a cake. It's something to do with a cake goes stale, whereas a biscuit goes hard. Something like that. There is a science to it, and there is a law to it, and it's to do with taxation, and it's to do with the staleness of it. Good question, but it is objectively, legally, for tax purposes, a cake. Hobnobs, I love chocolate hobnobs. Right, if anyone's got any connection with McVitie's, I keep messaging McVitie's because I want a Hobnob advertisement. I want a Hobnob sponsorship, yeah? Because my name is Nobbins and Hobnobbins. But McVitie's keep airing me. So if anyone knows anyone who works at McVitie's, let them know that I don't care if it's free. They can send me free Hobnobs. They don't have to pay me. I just want to be sponsored by McVitie's and Hobnobs specifically. So if you guys can make that a reality for me, I've DM'd to them on Insta. If you guys could like tag them on Twitter or whatever, then go for it. But they just keep airing my DMs. Train price. Oh god, that's just so disgusting, isn't it, Martin? I hate trains. Who be leaving City this summer? Phillips. I hope Cancelo. Maybe Gomez. I don't know what's going on there. Probably Bernardo as well, you would think. Stop the count. Yes, indeed. Strawberry pie. That's not a biscuit, is it? Oh, sorry, that's a cake. My skincare routine. I moisturize. Why has Sergio Gomez been frozen out? I just don't think he's that good, to be fair. Martin. Rico's a dog. I don't care where he plays. Yeah, exactly. He's so good. I don't think he's ever had a bad game. Even he's had one game for England. He was man of the match. You do late night streams. It depends, Martin. It depends how I'm feeling. But I normally do like a post-mortem, like a post-match stream on my own channel. I don't know if that would be tomorrow evening after the game or in the morning. It'll depend on how I'm feeling. If I'm up for it and popping off, then maybe we'll do it in the evening. If I'm depressed, then it'll be tomorrow morning probably. If we lose, I'll probably need the night to reflect on it, calm down, come back tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, I did. Oh, in the first leg as well. In the first leg, he was at fault for one of the goals, and then again, he's. I know Arojo, how you pronounce it. I know he got the red card, but again, stupid penalty. But he's got prior for it, hasn't he? He's got prior for it. He did it against Fulham as well, when he got red cards and just for no reason. There's a reason why, when Pep spoke about I need Ake to win my duels, there's a slight dig at Zinchenko and Cancelo there, and clearly we've been proven right in that situation. Start bench, so De Bruyne, Özil, Bellingham. Well, definitely start Özil. Bellingham's not done enough for me yet, so you see bench Özil and then you sell Bellingham. You definitely start De Bruyne. The gap between De Bruyne and those other two players is astronomical. Yeah, I wanted Barca to go through, but I guess from a logical perspective, Atletico would have been the trickiest one. My mank toad is better than Cancelo. Brilliant. How much are we selling Rico for? He's not for sale. He's staying here. He's going to be our captain in like 8 years. You can clip that up. 8 years. Okay, maybe how old was he? 19. 10 years, Rico Lewis will be Man City captain. I'll tell you that right now. Defo start. Sorry, did I say start Özil? My bad. Start De Bruyne. If I said start Özil, I take that, rescind that. I meant to say start De Bruyne. Özil is nowhere near De Bruyne. No shot. 40 million. Hello, he's not going any. Rico Lewis is going nowhere, guys. He's going nowhere. That's my boy. Arsenal fans hates and he feel bad for the guy. Yeah, he doesn't deserve hate, but he's definitely not a player who can win you, who you'd want to be starting, winning a title with, if that makes sense. He is still a little bit of a liability. Simeone overrated. I don't know about that, mate. Gvardio's club captain. I do love Gvardio. Rico can be the 8th replacement. Angry Rants Man passed away. I don't know who that is, Fraser, but rip to him. Unless he was like a bad person, in which case not. But assuming he wasn't, rip. Thank you so much again. That's your second €10 super chat. Thank you so much, mate, for that. Danny, again, thank you so much for your support. It genuinely means the world. The criticism of De Bruyne in national team that he does not win any prizes there is simple. It's much worse team and the Guardiola De Bruyne duo is not there. These two understand each other without words. I really don't understand the people who say that De Bruyne has been bad for Belgium. I think they're talking out of their arse. De Bruyne was arguably Belgium's best player in 2018. People say Hazard, that's fine. But De Bruyne was fantastic in that competition. And that was the year they should have won it. That was the year that they were the best team, but for like a jammy semi-final against France. And that was the year they were the best team. They should have won it. They came third. De Bruyne was very good that year. De Bruyne was very good in the World Cup was it the 2014 World Cup as well? I think, if memory serves, he was the reason why they got through against the US in the round of 16. So he was good in 2014. 2016, I'll give you, because they should have done better against Wales. 2020, once again, Belgium's best player. The most recent World Cup, did he have a good tournament? No. However, all of Belgium was shit. And let's break down those games, shall we, for a second? Because this is a myth that De Bruyne is bad for his national team. In fact, I think he's got the record for most assists in a calendar year for a national team or something. The loss against Morocco, everyone was crap. So we can chalk that one off, irrelevant. De Bruyne was crap, but so was everyone else. They lost. Whatever. They beat Canada, so who cares? They beat Canada. The game which mattered was the game against Croatia. If we're 9 likes from 200, yeah, let's make that happen. Thank you for that, Connor. Absolute boy. The game against Croatia is the one. Let's not forget, Croatia got to the semi-finals against Argentina. They got to the third place playoff game. Did they come third in the end, Croatia? So all Belgium had to do was beat Croatia, and they would have matched the path of Croatia. They probably could have got to the semi-finals. Did De Bruyne step up in that game when his nation needed the most? You're damn right he did. I don't think it's De Bruyne's fault that Mertens bottled a one-on-one chance which De Bruyne played him in for in the first half. It is not Kevin De Bruyne's fault that Romelu Lukaku put in his best donkey impression in that game. De Bruyne put it on a plate for Lukaku at least 3 times in that game. I would love to know what Lukaku's XG was for that game. I would love to know what it was. It must have been over 2, because it was ridiculous, the amount of tap-ins that he missed. I would love to know De Bruyne's expected assists, because he should have got 3, even 4 assists in that game. So did he play well in the 2 past games? No. But when it mattered, he was the one. He was the one who was putting Belgium on his back. It's not his fault that Mertens bottled it. Tone says it's the reason he's in Turkey. It's not his fault that Lukaku bottled it. This idea that De Bruyne doesn't perform for his national team is absolute hogwash, bollocks, tripe, shite. And what further upsets me, I'm having a rant here, what further upsets me is that people bring this up when they talk about, oh, that's a is this real? If that is real, that is fantastic. Alf, that is unbelievable quick research. I'm going to assume this is real. This is a perfect illustration of my point, if this is true. Lukaku's XG is nearly 2. For an elite striker, that is embarrassing. An elite striker, no hogwash, not Hogwarts. That is an elite striker scores 3 goals from an XG of 1.7. 2.4 expected assists with 0 is fucking crazy, man. That is mental. Yeah, when people compare Kevin De Bruyne to Steven Gerrard, No, that's what I'm saying, Alf. An elite striker should be doing that. I'm making the point that's Lukaku's fault. And Alf, you're Belgian as well, so you can attest to this, because I've spoken to Belgians before. My boys, my Belgian boys. De Bruyne is the boy for Belgium, yes? He turns up. When people want to compare Kevin De Bruyne with Steven Gerrard, if you want to do that, that's fine. In my opinion, De Bruyne has now eclipsed him, for many reasons. For some reason, as like a dig against De Bruyne, people want to bring up that, yeah, but when did he perform for the national side? First of all, I just demonstrated that is untrue in respect to Kevin. Secondly, if you're an Englishman in this chat, tell me when Steven Gerrard stepped up for England and played well for England in a tournament. Name me one tournament he played well in. Because I can name you 2 where he was a fucking detriment. What are we doing? Do you guys remember the 2004 Euros? Maybe you don't, maybe too young. Do you guys remember the 2004 Euros? Group stage game against France. The defending champions, actually. We played better than them that day, by the way. It's the 90th minute. We were leading 1-0. Zidane scores a ridiculous free kick edge of the box. Can't really do anything about that. If we draw that game, we top the group. We top the group and go into a much easier draw against Greece. I know Greece won it, but it would have been easier than Portugal, yeah? Okay, maybe you guys can't remember. That's if you're too young, that's fine. But I'm telling you what happened. How do we draw on that game? If I don't know if Tone and Martin are still here. If they are, they'll remember. If we draw that game, we top the group and have a much easier quarter-final round of 16 game. 90th minute, what does Steven Gerrard decide to do? He decides to pass it back under no pressure to Thierry Henry, and then our keeper brings down Henry, Zidane scores a penalty, which wins the game. You don't need to go back and watch the game, go watch the highlights. That's what that is Gerrard for England. 2014 World Cup. Decides to play in his Liverpool teammate Luis Suarez. That is England Steven Gerrard. 2006 World Cup, didn't he miss his penalty in the shootout? That is England Steven Gerrard. Euro 2008, didn't even qualify. 2010, scored a goal against the US, big whoop. Where was he against Germany? Nowhere. That is England Steven Gerrard. Did shit all for the national team, and yet I'm supposed to believe that a bad point against De Bruyne is that he did not perform for his national side. When he did, but somehow Gerrard, yeah, that's just stupid. There are many arguments you can have for Gerrard versus De Bruyne. I won't agree with a lot of them. I can maybe be convinced on some. But national side performance ain't one of them. It ain't one of them. De Bruyne, infinitely superior in respect to the national side. There's this myth that he's not played well. A myth. So if you defo don't remember, that's fair enough then, Tone. But yeah, basically, trust me on this. Trust me on this. No, Gerrard didn't play in 2018. No. Gerrard didn't play 2018. 2014 was his last one, and he was shit. Did he play in the... I don't think he played in the Euros 2016 either. I don't think he played it in then. But yeah. KDB, 2018 World Cup, Belgium beat Brazil. Exactly. Thierry Henry has an English-sounding name. Lampard was confused. But yeah, this is a Belgian saying this, by the way. He carried us through 2020, got us past Brazil and USA. He was our best player in 2022. He's poor in 20. Yeah, and 2016 is the only time I will. And to be fair, Belgium got knocked out by Wales. The whole team underperformed. 2016 is the 1 year where he was bad. Again, the whole team was bad. That was a weird year. But yeah, but Alf, I love that from you. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's Martin. That's my boy Martin. Thank you so much. Very generous of you, mate. Thank you for what have I done there? There we go. Thank you so much for supporting me, mate. Love that from you. Very generous. Big at Nobbins and all in the chat. Let's get behind our boys tonight. City to a die. Let's go. Let's make Madrid feel it. 100%. 100%. And with that, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up because we've been live for like around an hour tonight. Today. Yeah, we've been live for around 90 minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will be back later tonight for a watch along because I'm not in the Cup scheme, so I won't be at the stadium. So make sure to join me for that if you'd like to. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, if you enjoy my content, then you will enjoy the watch along. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating a victory together. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, I know. I'm overtired, Alf, I think. I just get excited when I do these streams because I love chatting to you guys. I always get excited by how many people want to engage with me and have a conversation. It's very humbling and it's very wholesome to be able to chat to you guys. Because I like the community we're making here. I feel like we're all nice to each other, you know, as nice as we can be. I see a lot of toxic chats out there in the football YouTube world. A lot, and I'm on shows with some of them. It's outrageous. Yeah, I'm glad that we aren't one of those, and we are never going to become one of those. Yeah, nice. We can have constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're not going to descend into like name calling. Well, actually, no, I will do that sometimes if I get annoyed. But you know what I mean. Not to the extreme. You know what I'm trying to say. We're not gonna make it toxic. That's for sure. There we go, guys. Wait, Dan, you're Belgium too. Love that from you, mate. Again, thank you so much for your really generous super chats today, mates. They have been very generous. Thank you so much, you beautiful, beautiful man. Tone, you said it, not me. Right, guys. I'm going to head off. Thank you so much to the new members. Thank you to the super chatters. Thank you to the new subscribers. It's free to subscribe. It's free to like. You don't have to super chat. You can just leave a like, and that does support me as well. Until tonight, guys, we'll be live from 7:45. So make sure to join me then for what could be a titanic clash in the Champions League second leg. Will Foden show up Jude Bellingham again? Will De Bruyne dip his nutsack into the mouth of Vinicius Jr. again? We'll have to see. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm going to click the end button because I'm rambling. I'll see you at 7:45 tonight for the City Real Madrid watch along and hopefully another win. Come on, City. Goodbye, guys.